A few things to take into account when functions to be supported by individual crew members. So if you are on a crew of people, these are things you want to make sure that your astronauts are getting. Okay? Effective visual and acoustic shielding against the outside. So this is for your quarters, so your crew quarters. Undisturbed sleep, individual environmental control, so you can adjust the lighting and temperature in your little bunk. Private communications via audio, visual, transmission, and email. Donning and morphing of personal clothes, storage of personal items, individual recreation, such as individual entertainment devices like iPods, just being able to listen to your own music, have some privacy on the station. Individually adjusted decor, so you can customize your sleep quarters somewhat, and a view of the outside habitat, certainly a plus. So here is a list of countermeasures that are currently in use for ISS crew members. So if you're doing a long duration flight on the ISS, here are some things that they already do. One is personal packages from family and psychological support groups delivered by resupply flights. So when the shuttle goes up for some astronauts to do some work, visiting the crew that's already on the station, they're going to bring you some care packages. Okay? An uplink of audio news in your native language, not less than once per week. An uplink of written news summaries, not less than every other day. Uplink of video for recreation and leisure purposes, sports, news, or cultural events. Material for individually determined leisure activities, such as videotapes, books, recorded music, recreational software, access to onboard amateur radio. Daily uplink of emails from family and friends. Private two-way video contact with family and friends for a minimum duration of 15 minutes for each crew member on a weekly basis. So every week you get 15 minutes to have a video conference with your family. Doesn't sound like a lot, eh? Quick call. Private two-way audio video contacts with members of the psychological support group for a minimum duration of 10 minutes per day. 10 minutes for each crew member on a bi-weekly basis. So you talk to your psychiatrist 10 minutes every other week. I probably want to trade that for talking to my family. Psychological intervention if necessary, and family support during admission if necessary. So if they find you really getting homesick after your 4 months there, they will try and give you some more time. So here is the list, the definitive list of behavioral categories and competencies for ISS human behavior and performance competency model. This basically means this is what the categories of things they want you to be good at if you're an astronaut, and here are the ways, or here are the measures of how you actually do that. Okay, so if you're ever filling out a questionnaire to be an astronaut, answer with these things, because that's how they'll analyze you. So the first stage is self-care and management. Find accurate self-image. So you want to be able to seek formal and informal feedback to understand the impact of your own behaviors on others. So are you the person who we're going to go ask, was I too brusque with you the other day? What do you think of this particular situation? Okay. Formal and informal feedback to understand the behaviors of others. How you manage stress. Takes action to prevent and mitigate stress, negative mood, and low morale. Care for oneself. Maintain your social relationships. So if you get a question on the test saying, when you get really busy with stuff, do you still maintain your relationships with others? If you answer no to that, just be aware. Maintain efficiency. Keep your items organized. Okay. Teamwork and group living. Active team participation, so you act cooperatively rather than competitively. Interpersonal relationships. Provide emotional support to crew members. Group living balances your own needs with those of other crew members. For leadership, some things that the competency model wants you to have is in your execution of the designated leader's authority, that you adapt the leadership style to the situation. Mentoring skills, provide direction, information, feedback and encouragement, and coaching as necessary. Followership means that you're supporting your leader, the assigned leader. Workload management, plans and prioritize tasks. The cultural behaviors that we want you to use. So demonstrate respect towards other cultures by demonstrating respect and appreciation for other team members' cultures and viewpoints. Understanding cultural differences, national, organizational, professional. You want to acknowledge the impact of cultural dominance on a crew interaction. Okay, so acknowledging that a particular crew is made up of American astronauts, acknowledging that a particular crew is more of a Russian dominance. Build and maintain social and working relationships by demonstrating tolerance of cultural differences and ambiguities. Intercultural communication and language skills by making an effort to use and learn the languages of colleagues. Okay. So if you're on a space station with a Greek guy, try and pick up a bit of Greek, it'll help your cohesion. And commitment to multicultural work. So it puts a common, free-faring culture, or spacefaring culture, ahead of one's own national, organizational, or professional culture. Communication. To optimize your communication, you communicate information clearly and concisely, and provide constructive feedback. You want to ensure understanding by listening actively and verifying information, so like reading back information to people, so you want me to do this? Yes, I understand. And even in emotional context, paraphrasing things back to people so you feel this way about a situation. That's called validation. Conflict management. First of all, conflict prevention by preventing disagreements from influencing personal and professional relationships, and conflict resolution by adapting your conflict management strategies to resolve disagreements. So if they ask you a question, how do you react to different conflicts? You don't want to say that you typically ignore them. Say that you try to adapt to the situation. Situational awareness. For the competency model to maintain an accurate perception of the situation, you want to monitor people, systems, and the environment. So is your behavior one that you are constantly looking at the systems that are in place, constantly checking your people to make sure that they're all right, going to people saying, are you okay today, how are you doing, and also watching the environment. Processing information by, so you want to identify and resolve discrepancies between conflicting data and information. For decision making, the competency model under decision making and problem solving methods, you want to adopt methods that meet the situational demands. For preparation of a decision, you want to assemble the facts, consider different options, evaluate risks and benefits, and probably consult with your team as well, especially if you're with a Russian crew. Execute decisions, check results of decision and if necessary, reapply the process. Okay. So those are the different parts of the competency model. First, self-care and management, teamwork and group living, leadership, cross-cultural, communication, conflict management, situational awareness, and decision-making and problem solving. So you want to make sure you engage in the proper behaviors. Okay, so what we've covered is why space flight psychology is important. It's important because of the situation you're in, and that it's a novel situation. Space psychology and space environment. We talked about motion sickness and sleep deprivation. We talked about some social psychological concerns, or psychophysiological concerns. We talked about crew psychology and some of the countermeasures that they're using, as well as the competency model. So that's the end of the presentation.